But cool. So we are jumping on into it. This is Team Aquarium versus Team Magikarp in the finals of Gosu. It's Gosu's Dota 2 Amateur Arena. So this will be fun. And getting on into it, Darkseer banned out immediately. That's really good. Obviously, he did just so much work in the phase game that he actually got through, just with the clustering up of that vacuum and dealing a lot there. So we'll see how that draft works out for them.
I expect Team Magikarp might have a slight advantage in the fact that they've had the chance to actually watch Team Aquarium in action, whereas we have absolutely no idea of what skill level Team Magikarp is on since I haven't seen them play a single game. So, really looking forward to see if it's going to do any difference.
But yeah, just kind of careful drafting right now. Just barely eating into the reserve time, but just want to make sure that they're getting the heroes off the board that they feel will be most detrimental to their intended strategy there. So Undying really was causing quite a problem in the game that Aquarium lost. It was just really, really good in the hands of the team Sven Beskari. And along those lines, I think it was a good pickup to remove that off the board.
Couldn't agree with you more. I mean, two solid bands. We've seen how both the heroes are incredibly strong. Looking forward to seeing what Team Magikarp decides to ban on this one here.
Very interesting right off the bat. I mean, we've seen a lot of different options for bans. I mean, Bounty Hunter, the Bat Rider, the Templar Assassin, things along those lines. So it's kind of a question of what's going to be the most beneficial to take off the board. I mean, I wouldn't consider any hero blatantly overpowered anymore, especially since 6.75 really balanced everything out. 6.76 even helping out in that as well. But in general, there's still some heroes that really set up really strong lineups. Even if they're not the most, there's plenty of different ways to counter them and lock them down, and not and to deny them the advantage that they can acquire with certain skill sets. All the same, if you build a team lineup based on Undying, and you go for those really powerful zone control and team fight things, you're going to build a very strong lineup, and that's especially true in a tri-lane circumstance. And it's just, they're not overpowered by themselves, but as a team player, especially the Darkseer and the Undying are really, really clutch heroes that need to be taken out early on, or they will get picked up for sure. And Bounty Hunter, similarly with that track.
Okay, we do see the standard bans. Actually, they actually got to pick up Bat Rider for the first time here. He's been banned all night. On a side note, I was actually a bit surprised that after 6.75 that we have not seen any of the boosted carry picks. For example, Phantom Lancer got a huge boost. I was actually expecting to see him tonight, but I guess that people just have perhaps a different mindset in this tournament. I'm not sure if heroes like Drow Ranger are actually in the tournament yet, but he's also been boosted severely.
She definitely has, but is muted currently in Captain's mode until they figure out exactly what to do with her.
I thought she was, yeah. So the Bat Rider pickup really has been desired all evening, and finally Team Magikarp got their hands on him.
Anywho, so what we're looking at there, we do have the Bat Rider picked up. He will be a very powerful presence, hopefully in the solo mid, but he also can do a really strong jungle just by stacking up and farming that up, no problem at all. So going on through, that's a really good first pickup, and one of the strengths of having that first pick available. So we'll figure that out, and Queen of Pain and Rubik are also picked up. A lot of dynamic spellcasters, they can do a lot with that. As far as Rubik's spell standing up against Bat Rider, the only thing that really is of note, I would say, Firefly's cool looking, but I don't know if it's going to be that impactful of a team fight without the napalm to back it up. So mostly just looking for lassos. Otherwise, I'm just going to go with whatever he can get his hands on. Possibly the Chaos Bolt can be very powerful indeed. But yeah, Chaos Knight, Leshrac, a beautiful lane combination. I'm glad to finally see it in play. It's a dual lane, and it's a really devastating one. Could mean that they're going to go for the Bat Rider in the jungle, since, you can go for a 2-1-1, that kind of thing. But the Bat Rider, wherever he ends up going, the Chaos Knight and Leshrac in their wake will leave a lot of pain and a lot of death, because they just combine their stuns so well. Whether you get a 1-second stun, 2-second stun, whatever, the Leshrac will immediately follow up with the timing of the Split Earth, and of course they do a lot of damage on themselves, especially with that Diabolic Edict. So we'll see how that works out for them.
I actually seen a Tiny pickup. I really like that pickup, to be honest. You see, right after Aquarium picks Tiny, the first thing Team Magikarp does is ban Wisp. So that makes complete sense. Yeah, really liking the Tiny pickup. I'm not sure what they're going to send him, though. I'm guessing middle. I'm maybe more like Queen of Pain as a solo, or the other way around. Actually, come to think of it, we've actually seen Queen of Pain, Chaos Knight, and Rubik in every match this evening, haven't we?
Not every night. Chaos Knight has not been in every single
Oh,
one.
that's true. He has not been. Yeah, that's true. He was only in 2 of them.
But Quap Rubik definitely making an impact on all these games here. Rubik has been a little bit hit and miss. It's really depends on what he can get as far as spell steals and also his lane. I haven't seen a Rubik win a lane just yet, and he is very powerful and has potential rune control very well, being even frustrating at putting people up on the impassable cliffs. But yeah, he hasn't really been used to his maximum potential, I don't believe. There's no Dendy Rubiks on the field just yet, but hopefully AQ can do something pretty awesome with it and move on from there. But yeah, like you said, the Wisp ban, kind of a knee-jerk reaction for the Tiny. Just don't want to have to deal with that combination, and good on them for responding in that fashion, as they also take off the Enigma, and the Jakiro has also been taken off the board. So plenty of different things taken out of there, AoE disables, and things along those lines. I don't know, I don't think Enigma would have been honestly picked up, haven't seen him all day long, but yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure about the bans either. I mean, always a solid ban, a solid pickup, but I guess that maybe people just wanted to spruce things up a little bit. Of course, Aquarium has absolutely no idea how Team Magikarp plays, neither do I, in fact. So, definitely interesting to see the pickups here. Quite the diversity between the teams we've noticed.
Certainly. And have a Disruptor ban coming out, just another powerful support. Jakiro and Disruptor, probably two of the most aggressive supports out there right now. And they just don't want to have to deal with Queen of Pain, you know, blinking out to safety, and then just based on long-range vision, getting pulled right back into it, that kind of stuff. So they're doing pretty good fashion with that. But do you think they're going to use Tiny as an assassin or as a carry? I mean, he has potential to do both, depending on how he builds his items. What do you think they would prefer in this lineup?
I'm honestly not quite sure. I mean, personally, I would definitely use him as a ganker primarily. I mean, he can be a strong carry in that sense, but I feel like it's so risky and it's kind of selfish. Whereas his spells are so incredibly strong with that early blink that he can just demolish the enemy team. I'm kind of hoping they're going to roll him out as a ganker, but I'm honestly not quite sure. I guess it depends on the lanes. If they're sending him mid, then probably going to be all-out gank Tiny.
Sure enough. As far as what they want to do to round up the lineups, I think they have two very powerful lanes if the Batrider does lane. Otherwise, they're going to be looking for a couple solos. The Darkseer having been banned out, that's not going to be an option for them. But with Keeper Light, maybe going for an aggressive tri-lane now with that build. Chaos Knight, Leshrac, Keeper, it's going to be hard for anything to survive up against that.
Oh, that's a hard tri-lane, I agree, yeah.
Yeah, as soon as Chaos Knight hits the bolt, then Keeper the Light and Leshrac are perfectly set up to illuminate and split Earth from there. It's just going to be a huge amount of damage, and if they go up against the Tiny, they are going to be delivering the hurt. So I don't even think Tiny wants to go up against that. He might just try to find any other lane but going up against the top, because I guarantee you Team Magikarp is going to be looking for an aggressive tri-lane up top with those three. And Bauer is going to go solo along with one other pickup. But Windrunner has been taken off the board. Don't know who else they're going to be going for.
Honestly, I have no idea either. I mean, it could be a variety of things. I kind of feel like they have quite the teamfight potential, not so much single target damage. They actually don't have a solid carry on the team, unless, of course, they're going to roll out Tiny as a hard carry. I'm talking Aquarium now. So I'm not quite sure if they're going to pick up a carry or yet another team fight or AoE combo. Or perhaps just another nuker.
I'd almost like to see, I know they're not going to do it, but I'd love to see a Team Magikarp pick up a Broodmother. We haven't seen her in forever, but the fact of the matter is, if you have so much pressure going up on top, Brood can destroy anybody in a 1v1 and survive pretty well in a 1v3 on, in this case, the bottom lane. With that, also a lot of push potential. Leshrac with his Diabolic Edict, Keeper Light with his Illuminate, and of course the Broodmother with her Spider Link. So I think that would be really, really solid, and of course transitioning into
I actually agree. That would actually be a pretty good pickup in this case. Oh, the Shadow Fiend coming out. And the Omnite, once again.
Awkward. I have didn't even cross my mind that Shadow Fiend would be something they'd be looking for. It doesn't really make sense to me, but I'm sure they have plans in mind for it, even if it's just safe lane, free farm, solo Shadow Fiend.
I get the impression that Aquarium really, really likes Omnite for some reason. I can't figure out why. I mean, he's a great hero, but I'm very surprised to see them pick it up in this game specifically, since the enemy team, of course, with the Shadow Fiend pickup, they do have quite a bit of physical damage, but still, I don't know if I would pick up that support.
So I guess I'll just really starting things off, as we don't really have anything to talk about at this phase, since we already know the heroes. I'm going to go on into the what they've drafted up and who's selecting who. So it's going to be Toons on the Tiny. Lolcats is going to pick up the Windrunner. Queen of Pain is going to be played by KY once more. Did really good with that. Or actually, he was a TA. Sorry. Confused those two as they are just so dominating in their solo mid situations. But KY did really well with the TA. Hopefully we'll do similarly well with the Queen of Pain. Also, it looks like Rubik was picked up by Moogle. And then, once more, Mug has been picked up by the Omni Knight. So that will be their lineup.
Yeah, and I'll take the Radiant team. I just gotta wait 10 seconds because I actually cannot see their names. There's some sort of bug for me, so I just gotta see who's on who here.
It's in the same order from on the bottom right to compared to the top left. So you just kind of go top down. But we can do it in the game.
I am in now. Yeah. On the Radiant team, we do see Hungry Magikarp like on the Keeper of the Light, Tasty Magikarp on the Batrider, Creepy Magikarp on the Leshrac, and Bandino Magikarp on the Chaos Knight. And then we have the out of place Marcus Bot on the Shadow Fiend. Not actually sure if he's a ringer or if he is a member of the team. Just not really wanted to pick up the name.
One way or another. The name sounds familiar to me, but I can't remember what it's from. Somebody mentioned a TV show, but whatever. One way or another, he is going to be playing the Shadow Fiend. It looks like he's opting for the solo mid, which is a little bit odd. He's not going for bottle anytime soon. Really wants that last hit, which he needs to build up those Necromastery charges, kind of going from there. But for some reason, it looks like he's going to be getting some ward support from the Ezalor, Keeper of the Light, who is going up top. Hungry Magikarp going alongside his teammates to, like I said, go up for that aggressive tri-lane, which leaves Batrider on the bottom, solo versus Windrunner. How do you feel about Windrunner versus Bat?
30 seconds.
Honestly, I mean, Windrunner has quite the longer range. I don't know. I mean, they're both great solo heroes. Windrunner has a solid escape, so does Batrider. I don't think either of them are going to kill each other unless there's an interference from the mid lane or ports. So just a passive farming lane, I guess.
Mm-hmm. But there is one weakness I kind of feel with running the Shadow Fiend in the middle lane. He is very, very, very gankable prior to getting his ultimate. I mean, he's still gankable then, but he doesn't lose nearly as much for it because he often gets a kill or assist in return if there's any TPs involved. Omni Knight smashing down that hammer on that regen rune doesn't want anybody healing up in this game unless it's under his terms. But nevertheless, I digress. Shadow Fiend up in the middle lane will do alright against Queen of Pain when it's 1 versus 1. Assuming he gets some early last hits and denies, but going on from there, if there is any gank transitions from the top lane, specifically Rubik coming in and getting some good telekinesis up, maybe Tiny, but I think he's going to focus on farming. But if they can gank up on Marcus Bot and get some nice flank action, it can be very devastating, knocking out those Necromastery charges really early on. So we'll see how that works out.
So just look at mid lane. It's going to be really interesting to see who's going to win it, because it's basically a matter of Queen of Pain having high burst but super low health, whereas Shadow Fiend has super low health and not so much burst but more the attack damage. But I mean, if he gets to farm up the souls, Queen of Pain is going to have a hard time staying in the lane. But let's see how it goes. It's really all about the last hits right now.
Mm-hmm. Precisely. As far as on the top lane, it's kind of back and forth. Rubik is already starting off with a single pull, which I don't necessarily agree with, as all it can do is just push your lane, unless they contest it, as they are right now, which they popped off the Split Earth, did not really hit on the Rubik, so they're actually just going to farm down the creep wave, and I think the equilibrium is going to kind of stay the way it was as a result. But it's a little weird. The ward did go on through, though. He couldn't stack it up, so just did what he could. Now popping off the Sentry ward, and that will get rid of the Observer, but I believe the Sentry itself will block off the spawn there, and they might have to wait 3 minutes before the camp will spawn, but we'll see in just 30 seconds if that's accurate or not. Might be just completely incorrect there, I don't know. But Queen of Pain looking 150 gold away from her bottle. Pretty much the same for Shadow Fiend if that's what he's rushing for.
I'm a bit puzzled by the bot lane here, but you see Winter is actually a full level below Batrider, but there's no apparent reason as to why, because they have more or less the same amount of denies. He must have stayed out of XP range. Of course, he's going to recap most of that level now with her being back in the tower there. Just a quick little remark.
She was zoned out a little bit. There was some really nice action. Just him stacking napalms, getting about 4 stacks up, and for Windrun only doing so much because that turn rate slow is still very painful. 70%. You can run as fast as you want, but if it takes you that long to turn around to start moving that direction, it's like a charging rhino. It just takes a while to get going. But anyways, she did take a lot of harassment, had to fall back, maybe pop a salve, some kind of regen, and got into it. But one way or another, she is doing all right. But I think Bat will be able to get a pretty easy level 6 in this laning situation.
We do see, I'm not quite sure, I think Shadow Fiend has a bottle in his stash, but I'm not quite sure because they do, Queen of Pain and Shadow Fiend have more or less the same amount of gold and more or less the same amount of last hits. Well,
No.
The thing is, the Queen of Pain has her bottle. Shadow Fiend does not seem to have his. So I'm not quite sure what's going on.
He went
But
for boots instead.
oh yeah, he did. I didn't notice that. Yeah. I don't know if I like that. I probably would have gone for the bottle, both my Shadow Fiend, but I don't know. I guess the boots work as well. Just versus Queen of Pain slow.
And it's actually looking like
Auto
Tony's
tech.
farming up with Avalanche, trying to get creeps that way. Actually, yeah, nice action on the middle lane. Gonna actually stop that battle charge, so a nice scream going on out, but it might be the death of
Whoa.
KY. A Raze possibly could have taken him down, but the blink was just in time. Actually, I feel that if the Shadow Fiend had raised exactly when he intended to, that
Yeah.
KY would have been able to drop down there, but in the end, nothing happened, but close exchange on both parts.
I think the problem was that he had cooldown on his closest and his middle range Shadow Rays, and only the longest one was up, so it would have missed her if he used it by then. I think it came right off cooldown right when she blinked, so I guess he would. But if he had positioned himself a little better and probably moved a little bit back, he would have hit her. Yeah, I agree.
But he's actually going for a Treads Rush. He has the Belt of Strength going on through. We'll get the Gloves of Haste, or sorry, I actually forget the name of the attack speed glove.
Belt.
That's right.
It's a belt of strength. Yeah.
Yep, and he will get the treads in no time at all. But that will give him some nice attack speed and stats to play around with, but he won't have that much mana to work with, as of course he won't have the bottle to control runes. I guess that's mostly because he doesn't want to waste the courier as much on the bottle crowing when top lane needs it just as much as he does. And the fact of the matter is he cannot contest runes against a Queen of Pain with her blink being available, and he doesn't have any slow or stun.
I guess he just decided that it's not worth even going for the bottle just because of the Queen of Pain. She's actually picking up a DD rune. So, you see he's doing so much damage already. He is doing almost 100 damage now, just from standards necromastery. So look at the top lane. I mean, the top lane it's really, really passive. There's really nothing happening, despite the fact of both lanes being extremely, well, able to be extremely aggressive at least.
Yeah, I mean, Bandito Magikarp on the Chaos Knight, if he can land a good duration stun, that's the death of anybody, but they've all been being fully aware of that, turtling up on the tower. Now Tiny coming out a little bit further than I'd expect, being on only 400 HP. There is a Purification rank 1 available for him, but Omni Knight not doing too hot in levels, only level 2 for the time being, and that's not where he wants to be at all. So, yeah, not exactly what I would think, without the stuns, disables, and aggression, but I guess, yeah, it's just the role of that turtle support, the Omni Knight. But now we see some aggression going on towards middle lane. KY has 1 point in blink available. Will it be enough to dodge out of the stun? She does see it coming, and she will be able to fall back. Not exactly, I guess just the day vision was sufficient, so good reflexes, good action there.
Definitely. I mean, honestly, right now the tri-lane and the top lane seems to be working out in favor for the Radiant Team Magikarp, because the Chaos Knight is sitting at around 21 last hit, so he's at least getting decent farm, whereas the Tiny is only at 4 last hit, so I really cannot see any advantage for the Dire team right now, Team Aquarium. They're not even ganking, so right now, I mean, Tiny is... Tiny might actually go down now.
Yeah, he's so dead. 2 seconds stun. I mean, he pops off a nice Avalanche, but that's going to be first blood for Bandito. And just good pickup there. The telekinesis pulls him in, but the tower did not have aggro, and so they have no chance of bringing him down. Illuminate misses up on the... Actually hits the Rubik, just barely. 40 HP, cutting it close. Now, actually, Invisor and Lishrak is going to pick him off right here. It could have just auto-attacked him twice, but wanted to make it a quick burst, and being invisible during the spellcast animation was quite a surprise for Rubik, unfortunate for him.
I would say that... and we do see Queen of Pain drop in the mid lane. I would say that the Dire team and Team Aquarium really have to do something about this now, because their tri-lane is failing desperately hard top, and they're going to be stuck carryless while feeding the Chaos Knight. It's going to be a huge problem.
4-0 swing, 2 on the top and 1 on each other lane. Just so much for Team Magikarp right there.
Lot of action. I mean, 4 kills going off in less than 1.5 minutes, if I'm not mistaken. So, I mean, that's a lot of action here. It's really looking a bit bleak for Team Aquarium right now. But let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Yeah, I mean, doors opened up. They saw the opportunities. They capitalized on them. Tiny a little bit further. Thought the tower would cover him more than it did. And with that, they got a nice pickoff for it. And the Rubik, of course, 4-second stun, and actually Reality Rifted into the Illuminate just to make sure is able to bring him down. But now Bandito on front end. There's Leshrak that already dropped down. Now going to be the Tiny in just a moment's time. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of damage incoming. That's a little bit of good return kills. I mean, the Omni Knight was only level 4, so not really that much experience distributed to the Radiant, and they actually got a couple kills on the board for it, so nice action from Tiny there. That's what he needs to stay in it and keep the momentum rolling.
Definitely, he just got some much needed farm right there.
I'm curious to see what he's going to be going. Like I said, there's a couple different ways you can build Tiny. If you're going to go for the Assassination build, you go for like Arcane Boots and Blink Dagger. But he's actually going for the bottle, some sustained regeneration, which he will need because he's just got 4-second stun and the Split Earth popped a little bit early, but who cares? Illuminate along with the Diabolic Edict will make sure that he drops down immediately. And yeah, I honestly got to say, half of that was the fact that he was in range of Catapult. The other half, where was his supports? Nowhere near. And the same thing as before happened to Windrunner. Batrider can just go aggressive as he wants. He gets those Napalm stacks up, and even the rank 1 Windrun. And does she have phase? No, just regular boots, and she's not able to get out of there.
Yeah, not to criticize anybody on Team Aquarium, but I kind of think it's sort of weird to pick up an Omni and Rubik and put them in the lane if they're not going to stick near Tiny at all times, since he could just basically heal Tiny and he would be out of there. But they're so far back that he just really dies for no reason whatsoever. So right now, they really got to focus on getting this trend up and running or doing something else, because neither of them are getting any real experience or gold, whereas they're just feeding the KF Knights. So definitely looking really bleak.
And I do apologize to the viewers for missing that kill on Windrunner. She is actually now transitioning towards the top lane to try to give Toons a chance to 1 versus Magikarp. Don't know if that's going to be favorable because he has been fed up to level 9. He popped his lasso on the Windrunner in that last exchange, but nevertheless it will be up in a short time period, and with his Arcane Boots cooldown I think he could even bring down the Tiny. So it'll be interesting, but Windrunner might at least bring a little bit more utility to the lane up top.
We do see the Shadow Fiend just absolutely, I mean, he is just dominating the mid lane right now with that super high attack damage, sitting at actually 145 damage, or like, yeah, 140 damage. He's going to get ganked by Rubik now. Will this be enough to take him down?
Wow, well, it did almost nothing to him. Not only does he have that much damage, but with the treads on strength, he also has 1,000 max HP. So no problem at all. Eats a Fade Bolt, rank 3, could care less about it, and instead they're just continuing on the push up top and able to bring down the tier 1 tower, now looking for a tier 2. They kind of Pink's going out on Omni. I think they caught track of him for a moment, but not going to be pursuing on that. Instead, Marcus Spot picks up the tower middle lane.
Yeah, so quite impressive. I mean, 2 towers. Definitely Team Magikarp are definitely at a serious advantage right now. So let's see if they can keep their momentum rolling.
Yeah, probably the most unfortunate thing there was Rubik had already put out a lot of spells into the Shadow Fiend to the point that he didn't have any mana available, so SF just, you know, free auto attacks. Like you said, he has a lot of auto attack damage, and they weren't able to commit enough. And now one raise going out. Queen of Pain already down to, just with a couple auto attacks and a raise, down to a third of her life, and that just hurts so much. She
really can't do anything right now. I mean, that's the fun thing about Shadow Fiend middle, is just that he's such a double-edged sword in that sense. He's either, if he gets ganked, he's just useless. He can't do that much. But I mean, with this kind of farm, he can just auto attack anybody down. He is by far the hardest hitting person in this match. We do actually see Batrider pick up a very, very, very early Blink Dagger. So he has gotten major farm, 2 kills on Windrunner and 47 last hit. So he was sitting with Arcane Boots and a Blink Dagger. Definitely going to be a big contender later on.
I gotta say, I'm kind of surprised they pick up the Omni Knight in response to the Batrider. Actually, Brandino Magikarp starting off with a 2-second stun, pulling in, and with that Illuminate, he will drop down here. Tries to start off with a Repel. Maybe the Purification could have kept him alive a little bit longer. Not going to work out. However, Toons did come into the fray, I believe, TP'd up, and was able to get a nice Assassinate combo with his 2 abilities onto the... Yeah, but it doesn't matter, because he will drop down here. Just too much aggression from these 3 here.
Yeah.
Actually,
Whoa,
Magikarp's not done. He has the lasso. Nice little Kinesis, but it's not going to be enough. Raze goes on through. Now looking for more. KY has plenty of blink action going on through. Moogle has stolen the cast bolt. 3-second stun on Brandino, who is underneath the tower. Will take a lot of damage, but now nice Sonic Wave going on through. KY will take the kill of the Chaos Knight, but in turn the Rubik will take a fall. Now Mug wants to go aggressive onto the Shadow Fiend. He has a TV scroll though, popping his ultimate off, and 1 auto attack will be enough. Beautiful play from Shadow Fiend right there. Exactly what he needed to do. Level 11 and loving it, and he actually gets double raise and a couple auto attacks. Queen of Pain didn't have the blink on, I presume, even with rank 4.
No, she had a 1-second cooldown on it. So that was, I mean, amazing play by Shadow Fiend there. He actually just managed to rack up, I believe, 4 kills. So he is just setting that much. He actually just picked up a full Shadow Blade, still with 1,000 gold to go. So he is going to be dealing huge amounts of auto attack damage.
Very, very much so. And attack speed too, so it'll help out quite a bit. He's got the -4 armor and the presence of the Dark Lord. And man, if he can just pull off more Requiems like that, he's going to be wreaking havoc. Blade of Alacrity, I guess going for a Yasha into a Manta. But that Shadow Blade helping him to initiate quite a bit. Like I was talking about a little bit with Leshrax's animation while in Viz, Shadow Fiend has a similar mechanic. He does that whole charge up for a full second before he unleashes the Requiem, but if he's Shadow Bladed, it does not reveal it until he actually uses the ability. So that's going to be very helpful to get some very serious surprise hits on pretty much anybody who doesn't have detection and standing still.
I agree. It's a seriously good combo. I mean, it actually, in many ways, I would say that this change probably outweighs Blink Dagger quite a bit, because you actually have no means of sort of interrupting him before the combo is off, unless of course you have Dust or something.
And a lot of aggression got up on top. There was an ultimate popped on to Omni Knight, but it's actually going to be the Tiny who takes a fall. Magikarp's not done, wants to finish it, but instead it's going to be the Shadow Fiend who just runs so quickly with that Shadow Blade up in the fray. There is a sentry on the field, but you know, if they're sorry to drop them down, they're going to be able to push up on this top tower very, very aggressively. So pretty much, yeah, it was just good initiation from Batrider to start things off, and Omni Knight only can do so much. So he got out. Tiny, unfortunately, not so fortunate. So they're going to be able to take this tier 2 very, very easily. Look at that damage, and Shadow Fiend will bring out that tower.
Insane. I mean, really, the Dire team have really got to focus on that Shadow Fiend right now, because he's going to spin out of control, and they don't have any card carries to out-counter him. I mean, meanwhile, we just see Keithlite just farming up bottom, not really doing all that much. I mean, just picking up his farm. Still a lot less farm than Shadow Fiend, for example, but at least picking up. And really right now, the Dire team are going to have to pull off some big plays in order to win this one, because they're at a serious disadvantage in almost every single way right now. Both with the loss of 3 towers and the 15 and 6, so yeah.
Yeah, and another thing you were kind of commenting on is they really need to pick up that dust or at least the sentries and place them out. But one problem is when you're behind, that's the last thing you want to do is just commit a lot of money to consumables and just to survive. And unfortunately, that just puts them really, really far behind. Popping up that detection. If it was later in the game, sure, it wouldn't be a problem. Nice ultimate coming in with that lasso going out of the Queen of Pain. She does get hit up by that Splitters and Tiny trying to do something about it, but walking into 4 people, not the right answer. So it's just going to be a quick pick off on Queen of Pain. And that's going to be the effectiveness of the Dire Wards action right there.
I mean, right now, to be honest, I kind of don't really see any upside to the Dire team, since it seems like the Radiant team have actually got by far the most pushing power and the most physical damage and the most magical damage, as far as I can see as well.
I mean,
Leshrax might have to go down here.
Yeah, I think one more. Yeah, Power Shot will do the trick. Now Mug is on low life, but the Raise will not connect. Now Raise has been stolen by Moogle. I assume that only steals the most recent cast one, so that'll be the max range Raise.
Yeah, I think it does. Yeah, it does. Yeah, it's range 700.
Okay, so yeah, that's not nearly as effective as the normal spell steal would be, as the primary component of Shadow Raise is getting multiple raises off in conjunction, double raise, triple raise, so not a big deal.
I'm actually not sure how Rubik synergizes with Shadow Fiend in terms of if he steals Shadow Fiend's Requiem of Souls, his ulti, if he actually gets the same, if he just basically does the same ulti, but with the same amount of souls that Shadow Fiend has at the moment. I'm not sure how it works.
I haven't tested it, but I have heard that it's pretty much how many souls he has at the time of stealing it.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I can't really see any other way of doing it.
So there you go with that, but yeah, the Raise steal. I know that in Dota 1 you actually couldn't even steal the Raise because of the hotkey combination. They just overlapped. And so I was like, nope, not even going to let you do it. But Aquarium actually going to try to go aggressive, popping off the smoke, but right into Marcus bot.
Whoa.
Beautiful Shadow Blade at Requiem, and just going to be completely annihilated. Might just call GG right here because holy crap, was that a massacre.
Amazing team fight right there. Yeah, that ward right there, that was the perfect ward. Just gave them the complete vision. Now they're going to actually down 4 of them and take down Roche. Alright, GG. GG is going to go out. Game's over.
I'm actually amazed that he saw that coming. The ward you're referring to was actually a Radiant ward, actually mixing up the teams. Yeah, that was a really good ward. They saw the smoke, and they timed it perfectly. I mean, they walked right on top of it with the smoke, and he had the invisibility with the Shadow Blade. So, all said, they're very effective, and they're going to go to the next game. So, that was awesome, and kind of a stomp, but it definitely showed the strength of Team Magikarp and how they can play and how they can set up their team for success.
I mean, definitely that was a very, very impressive plays in the end there. Just perfect usage of Batrider ulting and Shadow Fiend ulting, just hitting everybody. So much damage going out.
There is actually technically shows that the Radiant Ancient's fallen, but we know who won that. And we'll go on to the next game in just a moment, guys. But thanks for tuning in, and if you wanna,
We'll see you again shortly.
Yep.